Good morning, students. All will start the objective part relating to physics. Totally, after completion of your second PU, mainly 4 exams will be there. If you consider that exams, first one will be NEET. This NEET examination is for joining into the medical colleges. Next 3 exams will be there. That is, first one will be CET examination. Next one will be GMain examination. After qualifying this GMain examination to join into the IITs, we will get G advanced exam. Who qualified GMains, they should write G advanced to joining into the IITs. Okay, we'll discuss about these 3 exams. If we consider the NEET examination, so in the NEET, totally, if we consider physics, 45 questions will be there in the NEET. Totally, how many questions will be there means 45 questions. In physics only I am talking. Totally 180 questions will be there. 90 questions from biology, 45 physics, 45 chemistry. Physics relating to totally how many will be there means 45. In this 45, from the first PUC, 22 questions will come. From the second PUC, 23 questions will come. So, equal priority, equal weightage will be there for the first PU and for the second PU. If we consider the CET examination, it will contain 60 questions in physics. 16 questions, 60. In this, 15 from the first PU, 45 from the second PU. 15 questions from the first PU syllabus it will be there. 45 questions in the second PU it will be there. So, in the CET examination, more weightage will be there for the second PU. Less weightage will be there for the first PU. Understanding? If you consider the GMain examination, so 25 questions will be there. 12 from the first PU, 13 from the second PU. So this is first PUC. This is from the syllabus of second PUC. This is second PUC. This is first PU portions. Okay. CET and GMain exam is meant to join into the engineering colleges. NEET examination is meant for medical colleges. In the NEET examination, negative marking will be there. GMain examination also negative marking will be there. Means if you mark any question correctly, plus 4 marks you will get. If you mark wrong answer, -1. Already what you got, from that -1 will be deducted. Means carefully we have to mark answers. No chance for going guessing the answer. Whereas CET examination is not having any negative marking, you can go guessing in the CET examination. Okay. Then in the first PUC, totally how many chapters are there? What is the weightage from each chapter? How many questions will ask in a NEET examination, in CET examination we will discuss. First PU we will have totally 15 chapters. If you consider the name of the chapters, first one will be physical world. Second one will be units. and measurements. Third one will be motion in a straight line. Next, if we consider fourth one, motion in a plane. Next, fifth one will be laws of motion. Clear? Understanding? I am discussing about how the weightage for the chapters will be there. Sixth will be work, energy and power. Seventh will be system of particles. Write down all of you. All of you take notebook and write down. Next, eighth will be gravitation. Totally how many chapters are there? 15 chapters will be there. We'll discuss one by one. Then, if you consider NEET examination, if you consider CET examination, how many questions will come from each chapter? If you consider GMAIN examination, how it will be there, one by one we will discuss. Physical world, no question will come, either in NEET, either in CET, no question will come from the physical world. Just that is an introductory part. What is there in the physics, what you are studying, how physics was developed, everything will be there. Just as it is an introductory part, no question will come. Units and measurements, one question will come in CET, one will come in the NEET. Okay? Motion in the straight line also one here. Here also it will be one. CET. Next, motion in the plane, if we consider one question. Laws of motion, it will be one. CET also one. Next, work energy and power, two questions will come in NEET, one in CET. Okay? GMAINs we will write at the last. I will tell what to write. Next, system of particles, three questions will in NEET, two questions in the CET. Gravitation, it will be one. So just by observing this, what you can say, what are the important topics? System of particles will be important topic. Work, energy and power will be important topic. Like that easily you can understand. And if we concentrate on the important topics and easy topics, units and measurement will be easy topic. Gravitation will be easy topic. Like that if we concentrate, definitely easily we can get good marks in the objective examinations also. Okay? Next, remaining lessons if I write. Ninth, mechanical properties of solids. Mechanical properties of solids. Next, 10th, mechanical properties of fluids. Next 11th will be thermal expansion of materials, or simply thermal expansion of materials, full name of the lesson. Next, thermodynamics. Next 13, kinetic theory of gases. 14, it will be oscillations. 15, it will be waves. So these are the 15 lessons. What are there in the first PU? So if we consider this one, mechanical properties of solids, one question will come in the NEET. Similarly, one question, it will be there in the CET. If you consider fluids, 1. Thermal expansion, if we consider, 2 questions in the NEET, 1 question in the CET. Thermodynamics, 2. Here also 2. KTG, 1. Here it will be 0. Here oscillations 2 questions. Here waves 3 questions. Here it will be 1. Here also it will be 1. From first lesson to here, if we count, finally how much it will comes means 22 questions will come. Remember, these are the number of questions I am explaining. How many questions are coming we are discussing. CET 15 questions will be there. Okay. If you consider the G-main examination, how it will be there means, totally first PU and second PU combinedly 29 lessons are there. But only 25 questions will ask in the examination. That's why the pattern of asking the questions in the CET, that G-main will be from the first 10 lessons, starting from the physical world up to mechanical properties of fluids. From the first lesson, 10 lessons, 8 questions will come in the G-main. Next, these 3 lessons, thermal expansion of materials, thermodynamics, KTG, kinetic theory of gases, it will be called as the heat part. From the heat part, 2 questions will come. This will be called waves and oscillations part. From this, 2 questions will come. So oscillations and waves, 2 questions. Heat, 2 questions. 1 to 10, 8 questions will come. So totally this will be 12 questions. Understanding? Like this, weightage of the question paper will be there. In the second PU, when you came, we will discuss each and every chapter. How the weightage will be there, like that it will be, we will discuss. Now we will start with the first lesson. Units and physical world is just an introductory part. No need on that, no question will be there. Next we will go for start with units and measurements. Okay. Generally, okay. So we will start with the objective, units and measurements. Okay. Generally any lesson how it will be there means first some synopsis will be there, some briefing of that lesson. Some briefing of that lesson will be there. Any shortcuts are there, what are the formulas are there, what are the concepts are there in that. First it will start with the synopsis every chapter, then we'll go for different exercises will be there, atomic corner, CET, NEET, GMain, like that different 4 exercises will be there. Each and every problem in that exercise will try to do in the class. Okay, along with that we will suggest one more book for practice. By doing all these problems, doing one more reference book at home, definitely you are in a position to get command on that concept. Understanding? Like that every chapter will start with synopsis, but units and measurements is also small topic, not much synopsis or shortcuts will be there. Directly we will start with the problems. Okay, take the book all of you, one by one we will discuss the questions. So atomic corner, see first question, directly we will start with the problems. First problem, which of the following does not depict the correct link between technology and physics? Photocell. Photocell means it is a device which produces light when it produces electric current when light is incident on it. Photo means light. When light incident on a substance, if it emits electrons or if it generates current, that will be called as the photocell. Photocell, photoelectric effect, both are correctly related. Rocket propulsion, laws of thermodynamics. Rocket propulsion is based on the Newton's laws of motion. Rocket propulsion means rocket moving, that is based on the Newton's laws, but they gave laws of thermodynamics, so that is wrong. Optical fiber will work on the basis of total internal reflection, that is also correct. Fusion test reactor works on the basis of magnetic confinement of plasma, that is also correct. Which is not correctly related means second option will be the answer. So for first question, option will be second. Okay, rocket propulsion is based on the Newton's laws, it is not based on the laws of thermodynamics. Remaining basing will be correct only. Next, second question, you see, conservation laws have a deep connection with the symmetries of nature. Space is heterogeneous and there is no preferred location in the universe. Which of the following statements are false? That is the question. First statement will be correct only. Conservation laws have a deep connection with the symmetries of nature. That is correct only. Law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of charge, law of conservation of energy, these conservative laws are law of conservation of momentum, all those are in deep connection with the nature. That statement is correct only. If you observe the second statement, space is not heterogeneous, space is homogeneous, and there is no preferred location in the universe. That is wrong statement. So what is the wrong statement means only second statement is the wrong statement. Answer will be second option for it. Next, question number 3. Force of friction and tension in a string are gravitational forces, electromagnetic forces, nuclear forces, weak forces. Force of friction means frictional force and tension force. Those are coming into category of electromagnetic forces. So third question, that will be third option. Clear? They are coming into the second option. They are coming into the category of electromagnetic forces. Clear? Next, after finishing of this, next see the question number 4, what they are asking. See, arrange the following basic forces in the increasing order of relative strength. Totally 4 forces are there they gave. First one will be gravitational force. Next, second one they gave electromagnetic force. Next, third one will be weak nuclear force. Fourth one will be strong nuclear force. These are the 4 basic forces in the nature. Any force will comes into these categories only. Any force. Weight you take, tension you take, whatever it may be the name of the force. All the force, gravitational force, electrical force, magnetic force, whatever it may be the force, all are coming into this category only. So, arrange them in the increasing order. If you consider strong nuclear force is very strong force, that is, if you consider that is 1, then gravitational force will be, when compared to this 10 power minus 39, means that much weak when compared to this force. It is 1 if we consider. If you consider the electromagnetic force with the comparison of strong nuclear forces, that will be 10 power minus 2. Next, if you compare the weak nuclear forces, that will be 10 power minus 13. Okay? So, in all of that, strong force will be this one, weak force will be this one. Arrange them in the increasing order, means weak force will come first. So, gravitational force. Next force will be weak nuclear force. Next it will be electromagnetic force. Next strong nuclear force will come. Arrange them in the increasing order, means 1, 3, 2, 4. Clear? Understanding? All are simple and basic questions only. Try to focus on that. Next. 5th question. Which of the following statements constitutes a scientific hypothesis? So, they gave some statements. Which statement will constitute scientific hypothesis? What is meant by hypothesis? Hypothesis means a scientist is giving a particular statement about anything. For example, Newton is there. He is saying Earth is revolving around the sun. Maybe he may not be proved at that time because resources are less at that time. But later it is proved. Now a particular scientist is saying one statement. When it will be called as the hypothesis, this can be tested whether it is right or not. It can be tested, but mathematically it cannot be proved. So experimentally it cannot be proved because resources to prove that will be very less at that time. For example, one statement is given: every body is made up of atoms. One statement is there, for example. Consider one example. So what is meant by atom? How it will be there, any substance? Maybe in 18th century it is difficult for them to prove. Later when electron microscopes are came, then it is easy for them to prove. So that will be called as the hypothesis. Now a particular scientist is giving one statement. With the resources present now, I cannot prove it experimentally, but in the later generation, they can prove it depending on the advanced technology. Like that it is there, then it will be called as the hypothesis. Hypothesis at that time it can be tested also, whether it is wrong or right. But experimental proof we can't do at that time. Okay. Now here what they gave is, what they gave, check. Two statements they gave. Atoms are the smallest particles of matter that exist. Atoms are not the smallest particles. In the atom there will be a nucleus. In the nucleus there will be protons and neutrons. Around the nucleus electrons are revolving. Atoms are the smallest particles of matter that exist. This statement is wrong, but we can test it whether it is correct or not. Okay. Next, space is permeated with a substance that is undetectable. Entire space, one undetectable material is there. That is, we cannot check that. So that will be not a hypothesis. What is meant by hypothesis? It can be tested whether it is true or false. But that cannot be tested because some unpredictable material is there in the universe. In the space, some unpredictable material is there, undetectable material. So we cannot detect that one, that will be a wrong statement. So, which of the following statements constitute a scientific hypothesis means, we can say it will be first option. Okay, only first option will be two statements. First option will be hypothesis. Second option will not be a hypothesis. Next, question number 6. Which of the following statements is or correct? They gave some statements. Symmetry of laws of nature with respect to translation in space gives rise to conservation of linear momentum. That is correct only. Isotropy of space underlies the laws of conservation of angular momentum. That statement is also correct. Next, if you take symmetry of space and time plays a vital role in the modern theory of nature, that statement is also correct. Clear? So all the three statements, given statements, are correct only. So sixth question, fourth option will be right. Clear? Next, seventh question, you see, which of the following is the smallest unit? They gave 4 options. First one will be millimeter. Second one will be angstrom. Third one will be Fermi. Next, fourth one will be meter. In this, one will be the smallest unit. Which is the smallest unit? That is the question. We express all of this in the meter. 1 millimeter means 10 power minus 3 meters. 1 millimeter means. 1 angstrom means 10 power minus 10 meter. 1 Fermi means 10 power minus 15 meter. 1 meter means nothing but 1 meter only. Among all of this, which is the smallest unit means Fermi will be the smallest unit. 1 Fermi means 10 power minus 15 meter. Size of the nucleus will be expressed in terms of Fermi. So this is the smallest unit among the given. Okay. Next. See the next question. 8th question you see. What they are giving, see. S is equal to A plus BT plus CT square. S is equal to A plus BT plus CT square. S is measured in meter and T is in second. The unit of C will be watt, they are asking. Okay. S is measured in meter, T is measured in second. What is the unit of C? Okay. According to principle of homogeneity, if we are adding two terms or more terms, all will have same units and same dimensions. Then only they can be added, then only they can be subtracted. Understanding the point? If these two are adding means A and BT will have same dimensions. BT and CT square are adding means BT and CT square will have same, means all A or BT or CT square all will have same dimensions. Then only they can be added, then only they can be subtracted if they have same units and dimensions. We can't subtract two different quantities. We cannot add two different quantities. For example, in your classroom, some 20 benches are there. In your classroom, some 20 benches are there. Some 5 fans are there. You subtract 5 fans from the 20 benches, what is the answer means? Is it meaningful? You subtract 5 fans from the 20 benches. You tell me the answer what? It is meaningless. We can't subtract because these two are different. Fans are different, benches are different. For example, 20 benches are there. I kept 5 benches outside of the classroom. Now how many benches are there in the classroom? We can say 15. I added 5 benches. How many benches are there? We can say 25. So quantities have same units and same dimensions. They can only be added, they can only be subtracted. Okay? Here what they gave, S is equal to A plus BT plus CT square. What is the unit of C? Means, what is the unit of S? Same unit will be there for CT square also. According to principle of homogeneity, S is equal to CT square. Then C is equal to S by T square. Okay? Then how much we will get? C. S unit will be meter. T unit will be second square. So this value, T unit will be second, T square means second square. So meter second power minus 2. Clear? What will be the answer for that? Fourth option. Okay, that is 8th question. Next question number 9. What they are asking? See. The unit of surface tension in SI system is what? Surface tension, how it will be defined? Surface tension is equal to force per unit length. Force per unit length is defined as surface tension. Clear? Now, what is the SI unit of force means? Newton. What is the SI unit of length means? Meter. So what is the SI unit of surface tension means? Newton by meter or Newton per meter. That is the SI unit. So option will be second option. 9th, it will be second option. Next, 10th question you see. What they gave? The velocity of a particle depends upon as v is equal to a plus bt square bt plus ct square. Then the velocity is in meter per second. The unit of A will be what? A unit, V unit will be same only. Principle of homogeneity. V, A, Bt, Ct square all will have same units, same dimensions. So A is write like this. According to principle of homogeneity, A is equal to V. V unit will be meter per second. So A unit will be also meter per second. 10th it will be first option. Clear? Next. 11th. Unit of impulse is what? Okay. Impulse means what? If large force is applied on a body in a short span of time, large force is applied on a body in a short span of time, then that force will be called as the impulsive force. That time will be called as the impulsive time. The product of that two will be called as the impulse. If anybody slaps you, large amount of force is applying on your cheeks in a short interval of time. The time of contact between the hand and these cheeks will be very small. Just a slap like this. Or when a ball is hit by a bat, one cricket bat, the time of contact between the ball and bat will be very less. It will be in microseconds. So then the force applied by the bat will be called as the impulsive force, and that time will be called as the impulsive time. Large force is applied on a body in a short interval of time. That force will be impulsive force, that time will be impulsive time. the product of that two will be called impulse. So formula for impulse will be F into T. Okay, force means Newton, or F is equal to ma into T. Again, A means what? V minus U by T into T. T will cancel. This is mv minus mu. This is nothing but change in the momentum. Momentum and change in the momentum will have same units. Some 10 meter, you subtracted 3 meter, it will be 7 kg. Tell me. 3 meter is subtracted from 10 meter. What will be the answer? 7 meters only, not kg. So momentum like that. If you subtract two momentums, again unit will be same unit. Momentum unit only come. Momentum unit will be kg meter per second. So momentum and change in momentum will have same units. So impulse unit will be kg meter per second. Or directly, if you want to write using dimensional formula, impulse dimensional formula will be ml t power minus 1. Mass kg, length meter times second. So kg meter second inverse is the unit of SI unit of impulse. Next, question number 11. This is next 12. What they are asking, see, which of the following is not a unit of time? 4 options they gave. One will not be the unit of time. What is that they are asking? First one will be leap year. Second one will be microsecond. Third one will be lunar month. Fourth one will be light year. Okay, 4 options they gave. They are asking, one is not the unit of time. What is that? You pick the correct one. Like that they are saying. Leap year means generally every year will have 365 days. Leap year will have 366 days. Day will be the unit of time only. One day means 24 hours or 86,400 seconds. So this will be time unit only. Okay, this is what 366 into 86,400 seconds. It is unit of time. Microsecond. 1 microsecond means 10 power minus 3 seconds. Unit of time only. Next, what is meant by lunar month? The time taken by the moon to complete one rotation around the earth, that will be called as the lunar month. Or from one moon to again one moon, how much time will be there, that will be called as the lunar month. Simply the time taken by the moon to complete one rotation around the earth. This will be around 29.5 days. Day unit already day will have 86,400 seconds. Light year means distance traveled by the light in 1 year time. What is this? Distance traveled by light in 1 year is called light year. Light year is not the unit of time, it is the unit of distance. So which is not the unit of time means this will be the option. Light year is not the unit of time, it is the unit of distance. Next, question number 13th. What they are asking, see, one parsec is approximately equal to, parsec will be the largest unit of length. Parsec will be largest unit of length. Light year means distance traveled by the light in 1 year is called as the light year. 3.26 light years will be called as the parsec, largest unit of length. Okay. Parsec and astronomical unit, what is the relation? For that no formulas, anything is not required. Just you remember the relation, that is more than enough. 1 parsec is equal to 2.5, 2 into 10 power 5 astronomical unit. This is also another unit to measure the distance, very large distances. We will measure in terms of astronomical units also. 1 parsec is equal to 2 into 10 power 5 astronomical units. That is enough. Remaining unnecessary knowledge not required. Okay. Next, what is the SI unit of power? So 13th, what is the option? Option will be first option. 14th, what they are asking? Write the SI unit of power. Power dimensional formula, try to remember. What is the dimensional formula for power? M L square T power minus 3. M L square T power minus 3 is the dimensional formula of power. Here mass kg, length meter, L square means meter square, time second, so second power minus 3. So kg meter square, second power minus 3, or we can write it as kg meter square per second cube. This is the SI unit of power. What is the option? Tell me, check. It will be 4th. 14th question, 4th option. Okay. So see the 15th question. What they are asking, see, the SI standard of measurement for which the following fundamental quantities is not based on the universally constant measurement means time. How we will define the time means time. Second one will be length. Next, mass. Fourth, luminous intensity. Okay. Time unit will be what? SI unit, second. Length unit will be meter. Mass unit will be kilogram. Remembering all. Luminous intensity will be candela. While defining, if you observe the definitions of this, 1 second means what? 1 meter means what? Like that, if you observe the definitions of all of this, only kilogram definition means the mass of the platinum iridium cylinder kept in France will be called as 1 kilogram. Like that we will define this one. Either how second will be defined is the number of 9, 192, 632, 192, 631, 770 transitions. In cesium atom, to make these transitions, how much time it is taking, that time will be called as the 1 second. See how many energy radiations are there. To make this many number of transitions, how much time it is taking, that time will be called as the second. 1 meter means 1 by 299, 792, 458, 299, 792, 458th part of velocity of light is called 1 meter. Like that we will define. In the candle also, in terms of same constants only we will define. Velocity of light by this one. This many number of transitions, how much time taken, that will be called as the second. Whereas for kilogram, how we will define? Mass of the platinum iridium cylinder kept at Servus in France is called 1 kilogram. So one quantity is not based on the universal constants. What is that quantity means? That will be mass. So question number 15, it will be 3. Okay. With this we will stop now. We will continue in the next class. Okay.